Hello and welcome to another one of my videos, and in today's video I'm going to be going through a trade I made. It's quite a substantial trade. I was meant to put out a Diary of a Gold coin dealer yesterday. I had a bit of a migraine, which I think I've just been overworking. I'm still, as much as I like to think that I'm fully healed from the illness that I went through, I still have issues with my cognition even 2 and a bit years afterwards, and I have been pushing it incredibly hard recently, so maybe the writing's on the wall. Now let's get into the deal. So I was approached by a gentleman about a substantial amount of crown and crown size coins. He wanted to swap 10 sovereigns for essentially, let's work it out, 200, 250, 260, maybe 300 crown size coins. It was a combination. There was Queen Victoria, George III, and I think there's a couple of George V's, George III and a couple of George IV, sorry. 35 and 37 crowns, so the Rocking Horse crowns and the Coat of Arms crowns, they're at 50%. There was some South African coins, some Bermudan coins, which are very interesting. I've never seen them before, didn't even know they existed. Some dollars, both in terms of the Canadian and US variety, and he wanted 10 sovereigns for the lot. Now I turned around and I rebuffed it and I said, I don't think I'm going to get 10 sovereigns out of it, let alone is it a good trade. It was an awful trade. I offered him 9 sovereigns, but I felt when I offered 9 sovereigns it was still, you know, I didn't think it was the best trade at 9 sovereigns. And the gentleman come back to me and said, it's a bit hard. So I told him to shop it around. We ended up coming back to me and we did strike a deal for 9 sovereigns. Let's go through it. That's the backstory. Let's go through it. So you can judge me accordingly. Now, in terms of what I think these are worth, I'm going to put £30 plus post on these ones. In terms of what I think I will make on the overall deal, I think if I make 10%, I'd be absolutely over the moon. I don't think I'm going to make 10% on this batch, but we shall see. If I make 7 to 8%, like stuff like this, would someone pay £30 for that? I think they would, just because it's this monarch. Is it the best of crowns? No, it's not. I'm under no illusion that these are on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of quality. This one's a better one. I think there's something that's probably worth more than 30, but I'm not going to list these first. This one's slightly better, 1820. Again, this one's better. This one's probably worth a bit more, probably worth 50 plus. Now, when I put out numbers, they are gut feeling numbers rather than actual numbers. I'll then go back to digging into the numbers, check accordingly. This one's trash. This one's okay. So you can see a general consensus is that they're very worn, and it's something you would expect from coins of this era. I'm a bit disappointed with this per se. You know, I think coins like this probably shouldn't have been involved on the deal. However, when you buy sight unseen, that's the chances you take. So for every coin like this, you might get a coin that it's at the opposite end where it's worth a bit more. So I guess it balances out. This is probably worth a bit extra. This one will definitely go for a bit extra. That's a nice coin, that. I think that's all right, that. So yeah, this will make up for that for sure. In fact, that's probably more than makes up for that. Again, these ones are not going to be the priority to sell. This one is a George IV. I don't think there's many of those. I think they're mainly George III's. Pretty worn. Okay, you get the idea. I'm almost through them all. The good thing is all the coins that he sent came capped apart from a very small amount. That's okay. So yeah, overall I think as a whole these are okay. They're not the best, like this. Again, it's kind of frustrating, but there's a couple that were rather nice. So this one's okay. Better on this side. So that's them in terms of those crowns. I'm not going to go through all the crowns. I think the 37s and 35s, I'll just show you a picture of one and we'll be done with it, because they're all practically the same. Let's have a look. There was plenty of these. I think there was 85 of these on that came in between the 2 years. These are 50%. Okay, these are worth about 15 quid, I reckon. That's what I'm going to list them at. That's what I put them on the spreadsheet at in terms of selling. I'm quite happy not to sell them or to drip them out. There was absolutely loads of the Victorias, absolutely loads of them. I'd say this is genuinely the condition. They are split between dates. I think there was about 78 of these in all. I put 103 on the spreadsheet between these and the Georges. So some of these are nice, you know, they're not too bad. I'm just going to ping these out at 27.50 a coin. I'm not going to haggle. I think that's a relatively decent price myself. If they don't sell, it's okay, but I don't think it serves me a purpose to reduce them on price. I think they're of a good enough following that they sell for that. I think there's enough people that would pay it as well. So, and again, like I've penciled it in at 27.50. When I was penciling it in terms of buying, there's not really much in it. Like I said, if I make 10%, I'll be absolutely over the moon, but I would accept 7 to 8. Now, let's go through the South African coins. These are kind of cool. I've sold these in the past. I've had a couple of these in the past. I don't think there's many of these ones. Send them over. So these are 0.8. And there was also a third design that I'd not encountered in the past. Let's see if I can find it quickly. There's quite a lot of fan favoritism on these because there's quite a lot of South Africans in the UK. I'd not seen this one before. I'm assuming they're the same in terms of purity. If they're not, I'll be having a word with the guy who sent them, but in all honesty, I don't doubt him. He probably knows more about these coins than I do. Because I'm such a generalist, sometimes I have to rely on other people to look out for me in a way. That has bitten me on the arse before as well. I remember dealing with a dealer in the past, and to be honest, he ripped me off, which it is what it is. You live and learn. I don't deal with him now. I don't wish to deal with him in the future. So there's no more designs, but there was 40 of these overall. Like these are probably selling. I'm going to list these at what have I gone down at? 22.50 a coin. I think they go for that. I think spot's about £20 on them. I've noticed that people will pay it for these, or at least they have done in the past. And I don't think coins like these should be spot plays. There are world currency coins that I do think should be spot plays, but I didn't pay spot for them when I worked out the numbers. Not on the bigger coins anyway. They always cost me more to get in. Certain coins will come in cheaper as well in terms of when I'm buying in, but it really depends what it is. There was Bermudan crowns. Now, this is the first time I'm going to do a close-up because you wouldn't have seen this from me. I didn't even know these existed. I think that's a really cool thing. I'm assuming that's a Bermuda Triangle ship. But I thought these were quite quaint. I've never seen them before. I had to do some digging before I made an offer. Now, in terms of what I think they're worth, 11 to 12 quid maybe. On spot price, it's just shy of £10. I think 11 to 12 quid is probably a fair thing to ask for. It's something different. It's something that it would be nice in a collection. If you're collecting currency coins of the world, this is quite a nice example. It's a nice size. Okay, it's 0.5, but it's just, I quite like it. I just think it's well put together. The design's nice. Ping's nice. I'll have a think about what I priced them at, but if I list them at 12 and I get bashed down to 11, I'm more than likely to come down on these if someone wants quantity, but equally don't have to. There was 18 Canadian dollars, fan favourite. So I just got a message about another trade. Just been offered another trade, potentially. These are a fan favourite. I don't think you can go wrong with Canadian coins. Now, when I was putting together my stack, I was thinking about whether or not I should include like a blend of coins rather than just constitutional US. And I come to the conclusion I don't see enough of it to kind of put a blend together. And with the US coins being kind of de facto, I thought I'd just stick to the one currency. I did contemplate adding these to the stack. The crowns I could have added, but I'm not really a fan. I would take a silver dollar over a silver crown any day of the week myself. That's just personal preference. But if I was to have a blended stack, these would be in there for sure. Now, there is 18 of these. I think these are all the same in the caps. Prove me wrong. Nope, they are. And then there was, so it's 14 of those, sorry. And there's 4 of these. Now, in terms of price, you're probably looking at about 20 quid a coin at most. Spots around 16. Nah, maybe about 18, 19 a coin. There is a premium on them. Right. And last but not least, these are going in my stack. You know what they are. I wish they were Morgans, they're not, they're peace dollars, but oh, just dropped one, fantastic. There was 12 of these on the deal. Now these are probably worth 25, I'd say. Yeah, I think 25 is where it's at. These are not for sale. I'm now up to, actually I can tell you what I'm up to. One moment, I got it on a spreadsheet. I've got about $300 stashed away. These will be going where the stash is. It's not currently on my location, but I've now got I think it's $117 and the rest is in half and quarters. So yeah, I was more than happy to. We can go through the dates. I expect them all to be 1922. Yeah, just because they made millions and millions and millions of them. That's nice. I wouldn't grade it, but it's nice. 22, 22, 22, 23, 22, 23. Again, it's another nice one. And 22. Basically, if you get peace dollars in, the bulk of them will be 22s. That's just how it is. I think they're the most heavily minted coin out of all of them. It wasn't a long run that they did on them. And also, I had some other bits come in. An ICO order. It was a gram of gold and 1 gold sovereign. So a gentleman messaged me yesterday and asked me if I was buying. I said, yeah, I'll pay on a day. If you want to get it in, I'll pay you when it arrives. And yeah, so this came in. Quite an interesting batch. Is it the best trade I've ever made as a trader? No. Will it move a lot of postage? Yes. Does everything have to be extremely lucrative? No, most trading's more your bread and butter style trading. There is going to be opportunities. Like you see it from my channel where I'm buying at auction where I can do incredibly well. But as a whole, most things that come in will make a few quid here, a few quid there. You know, if I make, like I said, if I make 10% on the silver coins, I'll be over the moon. I don't personally think I will, but it keeps the walls from the door and it moves a lot of postage. So I think everyone's a winner in a roundabout way, I guess. I think the guy's had an okay deal as well. He's got liquidity out of it, but I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.